Hi, folks. Welcome back. Um, next up, we've got Lynn Chesnutt, Managing Director of the TSBDC. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the new SBA loans that were just approved for our area, and tell you what's in those, how to go about applying, just kind of everything about those top to bottom. Thanks for doing this, Lynn.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. I want to thank the Chamber for hosting these. I think they're very informational. We appreciate the partnership. So let me just dive right into what is out there now. It's called the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Now, briefly, let me say what is different about this than your traditional SBA. Traditional SBA lending is you would go to your bank, credit union, CDFI like BrightBridge, and you would apply through them for various reasons that you would need funds. This is very different. This is going to be an application that is going to go directly to SBA, and it fits certain criteria. So let me just give my notes and talk through this. So it is available to small businesses, also some small private nonprofit organizations who have been affected directly or indirectly by the disaster. And so first thing we did, the different states and counties had to be declared a disaster. All of Georgia, all of Alabama, and a good portion of Tennessee have been declared. Locally, Hamilton, Bradley, Marion, Polk, the contiguous Georgia counties, and Alabama counties. We expect the other counties in the Chattanooga MSA to be on approved anytime now. It could be within the hours. So how much can I borrow? Loans are up to $2 million. These loans have an interest rate of 3.75% for small business, 2.75% for nonprofit organizations. These are working capital loans. So what do I mean by working capital loan? A working capital loan is a loan that's used to pay existing payments on loans, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that you would have been able to have paid had this disaster not happened. What can you not use this for? Cannot be used to replace sales, anticipated profits, expansions to your business, and it cannot be used to refinance or consolidate debt. So those are things that you cannot use it for. So criteria. The criteria around the loan, they are going to look at credit history, although I was told, we were told that credit history was going to be looking at this, a little more flexibility surrounding that. Also, you must be physically located in the county that has been declared that. So you have to have a physical presence within Hamilton County, Bradley County, any of these counties that have been affected, not a PO box. The most important part is the ability to repay. These are loans. There are not grants. We get calls regularly about grants. Grants are not available for things like this. So they are going to be looking at, on a long-term basis, can the business repay the loan? Loans up to $25,000 can be done unsecured. If it's above $25,000, they're going to be looking at collateral. Now, if you do not have appropriate collateral for the amount you're borrowing, they're not declining them on that, but they're still going to use collateral available to secure these loans. There is no cost to apply for these loans. So I want to warn people, in disasters, we always have people who are looking to profit from disasters. So there may be people out there saying, pay me and I will apply for you. If you go with one of these folks, before your application can be processed, the Attorney General is going to be looking at that organization to see if they're a viable organization or a legitimate organization. We urge you to reach out to us or some of our other partners. Some of our other partners that are a part of this, and I will keep going back to them, are SCORE, Pat Wente and her group of counselors, Launch Chattanooga, Hal Bowling and his incredible team. They're here in the building with us at the BDC. Marcus Shaw and CoLab, I talked to Marcus 2 days ago. They have their boots on the ground. They're ready to assist. If you're not sure who to get with, talk to the chamber as well. And at the end of this, there will be information on how to get in touch with us. Jeremy has also graciously put up some resources. Please look at those. But let us help you with this process if you so need to.
Okay.
One other thing I want to mention, Jeremy, that I think is very important is the planning part of this. Look, we're all in uncharted waters. We don't know where this is going. We hope by doing these things that we now are being part of our daily vernacular, self-quarantining, social distancing, that we're going to curb this virus. And let's hope that happens. But even if that happens rather quickly, and we get the word from the mayor and the governor and president to, okay, go back out, go back to business, business is not going to just magically start back as it was, because your clients are also going to be impacted by this. So before you make application, I want you to do some planning, some thinking, strategizing. What do my next 6, 9, 12 months or more look like when you're looking at how much money you may need to sustain you? And that's where these organizations that I just mentioned come in. But others that I want you to think about, you should already be talking to your banks, your credit unions. You may have existing debt with them. They may have solutions for you. We've been made aware of several organizations, several banks who are providing some deferments of loan payments. A couple of them mentioned skip payments on business credit cards. Could there be possibility of refinance, loan modifications? You should be proactive with your banker, your person at your credit union, with them to help you. They're your partner in this. Also, CPAs. We have some incredible CPAs and CPA firms in our community. Talk to them. They know your financial situation. Let them help you strategize through this. Talk to your attorneys as well. We talked to Chuck Fisher today at Grant, Convaleka, and Harrison, and he had some great information on what they're doing from a legal perspective to help. So I want to mention that we all want to grab and go, okay, I need money, I need money. How much do we need? Let's make sure we're being and we're getting the information we need before we application. Prepared to have tax returns, profit and loss statements, balance sheets, income statements. You may need your CPA or your bookkeeper to help you put this stuff together, but it's all a part of what you're going to have to send in for the application. The last thing I can think of right now, and I know Jeremy want to open up to questions and comments, is how long is this going to take? We're told once you have a full application submitted, it's approximately 30 days. Can that change? Sure. There's probably going to be inundated with loan applications. They are bringing additional people in. Our organizations are helping as well, but please be patient. They've got boots on the ground. This is where they are focusing their attentions to help in any way they can. So those are some of the things I've got. Jeremy, I know probably has some questions.
Sure. Thank you, Lynn. That was very informational. So everybody may have seen I posted links to the online and paper versions of the applications in the chat. We'll also make those available on our website. And after this recording, there'll be an archive of this that people can go back and refer to. But I do want to get into some other questions here. Our first one comes in, is R&D considered okay for working capital, or is that considered an expansion expense?
Jeremy, I'm not sure. I'm going to write that down. And to the person that asked that question, please get my information and I'll make it available at the end. That's a great question. But I will have to send that to my local rep, but I will get that question answered for you as to where it will be. I have to wonder if that is not going to be seen as an expansion, but I do want to make sure I have that correct.
Okay, absolutely. Another question we have here is, if you have more than one business, can you apply more than once? The businesses are closely related but not identical.
If they are separate entities, you can. If you have two separate LLCs, an LLC and a sole proprietorship, whatever it may be, as long as they are separate entities, the answer is yes.
Okay, and I have one question from your colleague Madison McCann, who wants you to emphasize that online applications will be processed faster.
Thank you. This is why Madison works for me. She's the brain behind the operation, obviously. There are two ways to apply. There is an online and there is a paper. It's fine to take the paper one, pull it off and start making your notes, but online, yes, will be processed much quicker than a paper application. So, and also want to mention SBA.gov/disaster is where all that information is available, and both online and paper applications.
Okay. Is being in Hamilton County enough, or do you need to prove economic loss? Is being forced to close your doors proof enough?
It is proof enough. They're going to look at your application. They're going to look at all the information you have. If you're in Hamilton County, I'll give you an example. Obviously, the restaurants closed down, but if there is a business that supplies to restaurants, but you're not closed, you're impacted. So you don't have to be closed necessarily. Gentleman I talked to earlier, he has had several contracts fall through on what he's doing or been delayed. So he has potential. He has a situation. He's impacted. So,
Okay. That leads me to my next question here. Can a business apply preemptively or only after having been affected?
well, I guess my question would be to them preemptively, if they don't, you you do not necessarily think of it this way. Have I been impacted as of today? Can I still pay my bills today? But am I going to be impacted 3 months from now? And that goes into that whole conversation with us, with other resource partners. What impact could they have in the next few months, 6 months, because of slowdown of business due to this virus? You know, declarations of disaster, uh, recessions are not a part of that. But this is, are we in a recession? Yeah, we're now in a recession. But we're in a recession brought on solely by a disaster.
Okay.
I hope that,
What about people who don't have great credit?
well, as I stated before, are they going to look at credit score? Yes, they are. SBA products in general have a lower threshold of credit score than a traditional financial institution. Okay. What does that score have to be? They did not say. They're going to look at the whole process, the whole package. And that's where sometimes we can come in to go, also, what happened? If it was a life event, person was sick, the person was divorced, things that happen along those lines, that tends to get some better weighting than did I just not pay my bills? So they're going to look at the score and go, what happened? So,
Okay. Um, I'm seeing some questions here. I think we might want to reiterate these are not grants. They're not loans that are going to turn into grants. They
correct,
are loans.
correct. And let me clear this up. And we do this in regular classes we have. I spent over 30 years in financial services. I've done this for 6 years between my time at the Cleveland Center and here. I've yet to see a government grant to start a small business or to grow a small business. This don't exist. Um, there are so many things on the internet. Folks, be careful what you see. Are there grant, TVFCU is an awesome grant competition each year, but that's come out of something else. That's very finite, and that's very much the exception rather than the rule. Uh, these are loans. These have to be paid back.
Okay. I'm also seeing some questions about the term length of repayment and if
Mhm.
there's a possibility for deferred payments. Do you know anything
There,
about?
sure. So there has been conversation, and I don't have that. I know at the time that I was looking at, they had not come up with a finite amount, but they are discussing how quickly that first payment has to be made. So please go into sba.gov/disaster to see when the first payment would be. I know hard talking about when that first payment would have to be made. So yes, that has been discussed.
Okay. And I'm sorry, folks. I know we're getting a lot of questions coming in here. I know there's a lot of questions about this. We're probably not going to be able to get to all of them, but I'm going to hit as much as I can. Um, Location. Does a business have to be located in one of the counties that have been approved, or is it enough that their customer base is in one of those counties?
It is where the business is physically located.
Okay.
And I will say this, I believe certainly by early next week, all 95 counties of Tennessee will be there. That's being worked out, all of Georgia, all of Alabama, and then at that point, all of Tennessee will be there. So, but it is where the business, so if you're a home-based business, it's where your home is.
Okay. All right, folks. Like I said, I know there are a lot of questions around this. I know Lynn has graciously offered to make himself available. If you do have questions, give them a call over the TSBDC. He will do his best to help to walk you through this. We'll include some contact information when we release this later. But do you want to give anything out right now, Lynn?
We are all working virtually, as I'm sure all of us are right now. The phones, we will be checking voicemails frequently. You can go to tsbdc.org and click on Chattanooga, and it will have all of our email addresses on there as well. We are meeting with our clients and with anybody who wants to be a client virtually. So if you reach out to us and request services, we'll get you a virtual link so that Josh, Sarah, or myself can talk with you and get your questions answered. And we appreciate folks. I know it's very scary times. We're here to help. SCORE is here to help. All of our other ones, Launch Chattanooga, CoLab, reach out to all of us. Chamber, we're here to help navigate you through this and beyond.
That is the main message here. We're here to help. And thank you guys for continuing to tune into these. Just so you know, we will be continuing these next week. Lynn mentioned it's important to talk to CPAs right now. We're going to have one from HHM speaking to us about disaster insurance, supply chains, all kinds of stuff on Monday at 1 o'clock. And then we're going to be speaking to an attorney on Tuesday about supplier contracts, and we're still scheduling more throughout the week. We're going to try and do one of these a day if we can. Just stay tuned to our website and our social. We'll announce them there as they get confirmed. And if you are interested, I am posting a link in the chat right now. At 2 o'clock, our CEO will be talking with the folks at the Chattanooga Tourism Company, formerly the CVB, about how this is impacting a lot of businesses across the area. So feel free to tune into that. And as I said, we'll post this, the archive of this after the fact. Feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to Lynn and his folks if you have more questions. Lynn, I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Take care, people.